Today is a beautiful summer day in Minnesota, and I'm currently at Schwartz Pond Park because today I'm going to show you around Rosemount, Minnesota. Rosemount is a peaceful and I would say borderline rural suburb in the southeastern part of the Twin Cities, and it definitely has that small town feel to it. But it's one of the fastest growing suburbs. The population was about 8,000 or 9,000 in 1990, and it's almost 27,000 today, and it's still growing. As for its closest suburban neighbors, you have Apple Valley to the west, and then Egan's kind of to the northwest, Invergrove Heights to the north, and then a little corner of Farmington to the south. It's a little bit farther out of the cities, and it would take you roughly 35 minutes to get to downtown Minneapolis and 25 minutes to get to downtown St. Paul. Rosemount has a small historic downtown, and there are quite a few locally owned stores scattered throughout, but not just in downtown, but throughout all of Rosemount. And you're really not gonna find a whole lot of big box stores, but you will find them in Apple Valley and Egan. If you're looking for bigger shopping centers, the closest one is going to be the Egan Outlet Mall, and other than that, the closest is going to be either Burnsville Center or the Mall of America, and those are about 15 or 20 minutes away. Rosemount has this awesome place. It's called You Pull Our Parts, and it's an auto body junkyard, and you're able to even go online and search for the part, see if they have it, and then you go there. You do have to bring your own tools, so just remember that. Bring your whole toolbox, because it sucks when you get there and you don't have everything you need. But you go there, they tell you where in this giant field you can find that car, and then you can just have at it, pick off whatever parts that you want, and then you just bring them to the front and they'll sell them to you for a fraction of the cost. I love it there because I got rear-ended and somebody didn't have insurance. My insurance said it was going to be like $800 or $900, and I just couldn't really justify that price for something cosmetic. So one morning I was feeling really motivated, and I said, I'm gonna go check out the junkyard and see if they have a black Pontiac T6 at the junkyard, and I'm gonna get myself a new bumper. Just so happened they dropped one off 2 days ago, and so I was able to go and rip that bumper off and put it on my car. I get really excited about this place. Rosemount prides itself on its community events, and one event that they make a really big deal of is Leprechaun Days. This event happens at the end of July, and you'll find what you find typically at any Minnesota festival: live music and food. But Leprechaun Days has rides and a parade and fireworks too. There's definitely a lot of family events. They have free indoor ice skating. There's also things that adults would be interested in. They have free self-defense classes and free yoga in the park. It's like the most exciting event for Rosemount residents. Rosemount has about 30 neighborhood parks and a decent amount of hiking and biking trails within the borders of Rosemount. It's also right on the border of Lebanon Hills Regional Park, which has miles of hiking and biking trails and miles of kayaking and canoeing routes. As for the other parks, Brockway Park has a disc golf course, Schwartz Pond Park has a skate park and a nature-based play area that has like a zip line thing, and then it has a nice paved trail around the pond. Central Park is where they have Leprechaun Days, but there's also a splash pad there, so it's this thing that just squirts out water from the ground, so it's really good on hot days. Spring Lake Park Reserve is probably my favorite because fall of 2022 they reintroduced bison there. I just think it's really cool to see them all hanging out there. But it also has a nice wooded trail that leads down to the river, so you do have to walk in the sun for a little bit, but once you hit the woods part, you're just completely covered, and then there's a cute little bench where you can watch the river flow. Now I'm at Spring Lake Park walking yet another nice wooded trail. It's good on hot days, and I am currently on my way to the river. If you're interested in schools, Rosemount is part of the Rosemount Apple Valley Egan School District, and niche.com gave Apple Valley Senior High and Rosemount Senior High an A, gave Egan an A+, and most of the middle and elementary schools in A or B. It's important to check out the niche.com website for yourself because there's a lot of different grading criteria, and I think some are going to be more important to you than others. Most of the homes in Rosemount were built between 1990 and 2009, but there are a lot of new builds in Rosemount. One of the bigger developments, I believe it's called Dunmore, is in its second phase, and I think it's really exciting because they're actually gonna have a trail system that leads to Lebanon Hills Regional Park, and I think having a house that leads so close to such a beautiful park would just be awesome. As for the median sales price, in Rosemount it is $420,000, which is higher than that of the Twin Cities at $365,000. There is definitely a range of condos and townhouses that you can find for under $300,000. If you're more interested in single family homes, I would go in with the expectation of spending at least in the low to mid 400s. I was looking the other day. I think I saw one that was like 320,000, one for 360, and these are all like 3-bed, 2-bath, or 4-bed, 2-bath. You can actually get a new build that has an open floor plan for around $450,000. Now for some pros and cons. For the cons, one of them is that it takes like 10 or 15 minutes to get to the highway. So you have to go through a lot of stop signs and a lot of neighborhoods before you reach the highway. So if you're going out of Rosemount quite a bit to get either to the city or farther up north of the city, it's going to add quite a bit to your drive time. That leads me to the next con, which is that a lot of the corporate jobs are going to be closer to the city. So if you are working in the corporate world, just keep that in mind because that'll definitely add to the commute time. Another con I would say is that there aren't any big box stores in Rosemount. Very possible that you'll find everything you need and you don't need a big box store, but if you think that you might and you happen to also rely on public transportation or a bike to get around, then it could be more of a pain. If you have a car, you probably won't think it's that big of a deal because it's 10 to 15 minute drive to get to the Target or Walmart, but again, going to be more difficult if you do not have a car. As for pros, one pro is definitely that it's very quiet and peaceful. And it doesn't seem like there's always a whole lot going on in Rosemount except for maybe around Leprechaun Days, but it just seems like, very calm and peaceful. That also means that the traffic there really isn't that bad. So even though it's kind of a pain to get through all the stop signs in the neighborhoods before you get to the highway, the traffic is not going to add more to your drive. That's kind of related to the next pro, which is that it has that small town feel. You kind of feel like you're out in the country in some parts of Rosemount. There's a lot of undeveloped land, but you're not far from all the suburban amenities. So you can still kind of get that country air with easy access to all those amenities, given that you have a car. And the last pro that I definitely think is worth mentioning is that a lot of the homes in Rosemount are on really big lots, and they have these really big yards. So if you're the type of person that likes to entertain, you want to have friends over to grill and play yard games, that's gonna be awesome for you. Also, another plus is if you have a dogs, or any other animal you wanna let run outside, they're gonna appreciate that too. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think about Rosemount in the comments. And if you currently live or have lived in Rosemount and you wanna share some tips for people thinking about moving there, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I will see you next time, and I hope you have a great day.